And we stay with that subject for the business. Matthew's here with that. Japanese Prime Minister seems to have had a bit of a vote of confidence, really, doesn't he, in his economic approach?
Yes, it seems that was a big factor in those weekend elections and his coalition's success. In fact, an opinion poll for the NHK TV station said 72% of the Japanese approve of the way he's handling the economy. That's a pretty good score, sure. 3/4. And this approach that he has been called Abenomics. And there are three main parts to it. They've called them 3 arrows, in fact. And the first two are, well, the first one is about monetary policy, stimulating, as we've seen lots of countries like the US and the UK, for example, doing as well, putting money into the economy, $500 billion worth per year of bond purchases, also doubling the inflation target, just as a way to try and get things moving. The other part of it is government spending as well, a big fiscal stimulus, over $100 billion worth. Now, a lot of that has gone, in fact, towards spending on funding for disaster relief, rebuilding roads and schools, that kind of thing as well, to try and boost growth and jobs. The third part, though, is this third arrow that's really critical, but that we haven't seen a lot of details of yet. There's been some moves towards, for example, creating low tax zones, but a lot of people feeling that the Prime Minister has held back because this is the controversial part where he's going to go up against some vested interests. And but now that he's won these elections over the weekend, we might start to see a few more of these ideas around structural reforms for the Japanese economy.
OK, no doubt some economists worried about that approach. The voters, though, seem to like that approach. Is it working? Is the big question, isn't it?
Well, if you look at what investors think about it, the Nikkei index of stock market shares has been rising by over 40%. This is the path that it's followed since January. Just apart from that little dip, it's been up, as you can see. Business confidence up as well. And the International Monetary Fund upped its forecast for the Japanese economy earlier this month. It said that it expects 2% growth. That's 0.5% higher than it had previously thought for this year. Growth next year as well. But as I said, the real test lies ahead, not just in this third arrow in defining these structural long-term reforms that Japan needs, but also dealing with the debt pile. Japan has a huge debt pile, twice the size of its economy.
OK, Japanese shares have been rising and falling. They keep going up and down, don't they?
Every time we've looked this morning, they've been different. I will reveal to you now what's been happening.
Can't wait.
This is how the market closed. In fact, in Nikkei, the Nikkei index at least up 0.5%, which was not where it was a little while ago. The other markets there, as you can see, the Shanghai Composite slightly down. Some economic concerns still weighing on sentiment there. And one piece of company news as well about Apple. It's revealed that its website for software developers was hacked last week, on Thursday, in fact, and Apple took that site offline. Now, it said that while very sensitive information was encrypted, it also said that it can't rule out the possibility that some names, email addresses, that kind of thing could have been accessed. That's why it shut down the site.
OK, now just a few moments ago we were talking about the mini heatwave we're having here in France. And one country having a successful summer season is country next door, Spain. It's benefiting from tourists who are reluctant to travel to troubled destinations like Egypt and Turkey. Well, France 24's correspondents have been to the Costa del Sol to find out more.
Beaches of the Costa del Sol are packed this summer. Foreign visitors are here in record numbers. The government estimates by the end of September, 48 million will have holidayed in the country. In contrast to Egypt and Turkey, Spain is seen as a safe destination.
Peaceful, quiet, secure. My pound buys lots of euros.
Not in Turkey. I'm from Sweden. The Swedish government was telling us not to go there.
In Andalusia, where half of young people are out of work, jobs are finally being created. At places like the Club Marbella, the most expensive hotel in Spain, where rooms cost €1,000 a night.
Little by little, it's becoming easier to employ people. The 4 years of the crisis we've just been through have shaken up the job market and made it easier to take people on.
Some 1,000 new jobs were created in June in Marbella. Good news for young people. Sergio has just started working at the club.
For the last few years, we really suffered from the crisis. But this season, things seem to be taking off again. It's a good time to look for work.
For hoteliers on the coast, there are clear signs the recession could be nearing its end.
When it comes to five-star hotels, not only are they full, but prices have gone up, sometimes spectacularly. It's only with the cheaper hotels that there's still a price war.
Tourism makes up 15% of Spain's revenue. The government of Mariano Rajoy is counting on it to help drive the country's return to growth.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Costa del Sol. Thank you very much, Matthew. Matthew with business here on France 24. Now, though, time for today's focus.